Good morning.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, Aaron.
Morning, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm now unmuted. Doing well. Glad you could join us.
All our Kansas City friends are here.
Actually, I should be wearing orange, not because I'm a Denver Broncos or Cleveland Browns fan, but because of the new Taylor Swift album. But
we were talking about that here at work, that you should be wearing pink for Chapel Rome. Everybody should wear pink today.
True. But I went to visit my daughter, and we're going to watch the Taylor Swift movie tonight for her birthday. So.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I'll have to switch into something orange when I'm done representing the Chiefs on this call.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's Gabriel.
I thought that was Gabrielle.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with my camera, but it's not available. I will close and yes, I will leave. I will come back soon to see what happened.
Okay, well, I think, Wendy, let's go ahead and get started. It's 10:30. And we've got a lot happening today. So welcome, everybody. I'm Carrie Coogan, Deputy Director of Community Engagement and Public Affairs for the Kansas City Public Library. Thank you all for joining us. Wanted to share on the screen our mission and vision. I think most of you probably know this, but putting it up here as a reminder. And our steering council includes Ina Montgomery, founder and executive director of Urban Tech, Aaron Deacon, founder and managing director of KC Digital Drive, and myself. And I'm assisted today with our strategic initiatives manager, Wendy Pearson of the library, who also runs our tech access. So thank you, Wendy, for your help. Here are all the ways you can connect with the coalition, share what you're working on through lots of social media platforms. And as we get to the agenda, I just wanted to open it up. Is there anybody who's new on the call today? Any new members who would like to unmute and say hello?
Good morning. My name is Joanna Adebi. I'm president of Community Outreach Partners for Empowerment. I've been getting the emails, but I hadn't made a meeting. So just want to say thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you for being here. Can you share a little bit more about what you do in this work?
So Community Outreach Partners for Empowerment is a nonprofit organization based in Kansas City, Missouri. We have our board is throughout the U.S., so we mostly have been doing like webinars, but we support communities, families with pursuing their dreams. We have information sessions and things like that. And one of our core focuses was on digital literacy. So more so not recreating, but just kind of partnering with organizations and different platforms that provide the services and just extending it. We have property in Central Kansas City in the Prospect area. So we're in the process of trying to build a community resource center. And so the idea was to be able to extend different services that are already in the Kansas City area, but just like to that space, because they're either like further like in the downtown area or further south, but not so much in central Kansas City. So that's kind of the idea and concept. So right now I'm just meeting as there's different forums such as this to kind of find out what's going on in the Kansas City area and see how somehow we can connect and promote each other's mission. So
That's great.
thank you.
Do you currently have a space in addition to what you're working on, or for where you're doing programming?
No, we're kind of in the we've been in the land acquisition phase for a while. Actually, we just are signing an MOU with a developer. And so hopefully we'll have some. It's going to be a little bit smaller because we also have property that we're going to do affordable housing. So the idea of what we had, so may be a little bit smaller, but at least we'll still be able to serve the area and look about partnerships, doing something similar to what like LAMP or something like that, or even having somebody come to that space to provide that service in that area. It's more so the concept. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
That's great. And do you mind sharing the name of your organization one more time?
Oh, sure. And I can put it in the chat. It's called Community Outreach Partners for Empowerment.
And Joanna, could you put your contact information also in the chat, your email address?
Definitely will. Thank you.
There's another group called Greater Impact KC that has a little community action network right there at 31st and Prospect, directly across the street from the Blueford Library branch. I want to make sure I get you connected with them as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining the call, and look forward to seeing you on future calls.
Thank you.
Any other new members on the line? Okay. Great. Well, then I think we're going to jump into our agenda for today. So we're really excited to have Aaron Schill, who is the Director of Research and Programs for the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. He's going to be talking to us about a brand new tool that the NDIA is working on for practitioners who work in digital inclusion coalitions around the country, and finding ways to capture more data and track progress for everything that we're doing in these communities. I think many of you who have been doing this work, or any kind of work, really, one of the best things you could and should be doing is collecting data and finding out where you're making an impact and tracking that progress, not just for our organization, but for our community and for the funders in our community. It makes a big difference. And so NDIA has really taken a deep dive into this and is trying to provide support for coalitions around the country to help inform how we can do this better. And so he's here to talk about that. And then after Aaron does his presentation and we take some questions there, then super excited to be celebrating and acknowledging Hispanic Heritage Month. And so we have some of our coalition partners who are doing work with our Hispanic communities and others, but we want to hear from them and hear what's going on this month, but also the work that they're doing in this space. So look forward to that. And so we'll start with Aaron. Aaron's on the line. So Aaron Schill is Director of Research and Programs at NDIA. Aaron, we were happy to have you here in town just a couple of weeks ago for the Digital Research Forum put on by the Kansas City Fed and other Federal Reserve banks around the country. So it was great to have you here, and we learned a lot, but I know I'm excited to learn more and share with our coalition and our community about ways that we can better collect data and track progress on the work that we're doing. So welcome, and thank you so much for your time today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. And hi, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, depending on, I don't know, we're 2 hours different. I'm in Portland, Oregon, so still morning for you all too. Good to see you all. As Carrie said, my name's Aaron Schill. I'm the Director of Research and Programs at the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. I'm going to share my screen, and I will give a little bit more background about myself and our organization. Because I know we have a mix. We have some folks on the call who know us extremely well, and who have even had a chance to see some of the resources that I'll be presenting today. And then we have some folks that maybe don't know us at all and are newer to this work and maybe new to NDIA as well. So just to give a quick, hopefully you all can see my screen. Can you see a cover slide? I see a thumbs up. Great. So before we get into the what we call the Digital Inclusion Impact Aggregator, it's a mouthful. Just a quick little background on NDIA. So the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, we are a nonprofit organization that works nationally. We're a fully distributed remote team, so we have folks all over the country, and we work to support folks like yourselves. We have a network of more than 2,000 affiliates who are primarily community-based organizations, community anchor institutions, local governments, some state governments and state and national organizations, but really the bulk of our community and the bulk of our work is focused on supporting practitioners and folks doing the work, whether that is providing direct service programs, whether that's convening coalitions, whether it's working on policy issues. We really exist to support you all in the work you're doing. And as Carrie mentioned, I'm the director of research and programs. And what that means is I oversee our data and research work. I'll be talking a little bit more about that here momentarily. But the other half of my kind of portfolio of work is I support our work with local governments and coalitions. So I am always pleased to be able to join and a coalition call and hear what's going on and kind of see how different coalitions work. I will put in a quick plug. We have a coalition working group that meets monthly that any coalition leadership is welcome to join. It's on Thursday mornings, usually the third Thursday of the month. Happy to connect you all to that, but we would love to include some folks from Kansas City in those conversations and just kind of building knowledge and peer learning across different coalitions. So I will be happy to follow up on that. But let's get into what we're going to talk about today, which is the aggregator tool. So just a little bit of background on what this is, and then I'm going to give a quick overview and then hopefully leave a little bit of time for conversation. So the aggregator tool is something that we began developing with a few partners who are listed here. I want to highlight, you'll see 8 states listed. So we began developing this tool as a way to support states who needed to measure the impact and metrics around their Digital Equity Act state capacity grants. So this work started about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago. And at that time, states were developing state digital equity plans as part of the Digital Equity Act funding. And they knew following completion of the plans, each state would be getting a significant amount of money to fund implementation and fund digital equity programs through capacity grants. And they knew they'd have a lot of reporting to do, but didn't really have any mechanism to do that, and kind of had limited guidance on what would be required or what type of reporting they should be doing to the federal government on the impacts of their work. And so a number of states came to us and we put together this pilot cohort to help us think through, like, what should we measure and how would we go about doing that? And can we do that in a way that would create some standardization so that across different states or across different communities, we're kind of all talking about the same thing. Like we're collectively trying to measure the same types of things about the work that's happening in communities and on the ground. And so where we landed was to develop a database tool and some guidance about how to do data collection for an entire digital equity ecosystem. And what I mean by that is they were thinking about it from like an entire state, if we're getting grants across an entire state. But we have always had an interest in measuring ecosystems, whether that is at a state level or at a local, like community level or a regional level. For yourselves, like thinking about across our entire coalition that serves, the KC metro area, how would we think about collectively measuring the work that we do? So our interest has always been in kind of understanding this like collective, holistic ecosystem approach to doing digital inclusion work. It just so happened that the states were anticipating getting this significant funding and were able to kind of like kickstart this work. And so some of this is oriented toward states measuring work around the Digital Equity Act, but it is not exclusively for that. And I just say that because there's some language that's kind of still a remnant of the Digital Equity Act, even though we know that is gone, at least for now. And so if you see some stuff like a term like measurable objective, and you're like, hey, that sounds like it's very specific, it's probably because it was kind of oriented around that particular use case, but we think there are a lot more. Okay, so that's a little bit of the background. So what actually is it? And what I'm going to do today, I'm not really going to demo the tool a whole lot. I'm happy to pull it up and show, but what I think is more useful is to give a quick overview of the different components of this tool, and then a few suggestions about how we think communities and coalitions in particular can start to use some pieces. And then I'd be interested to hear from you all, kind of what your thoughts are. So that's what I'm hoping to get through. So what I'm going to do is give an overview of the three main components of this aggregator tool. And you can see them listed there. We have an evaluation framework. There's a database, like where you actually input and collect data. And then there's a data collection guide. I will note that all of these are designed to be kind of scalable and customizable. So if you are not as familiar with NDIA, the way we produce resources, everything we produce is open source and free to anyone to use. And we really emphasize kind of low barriers to entry. So we don't want to saddle you all with like a very expensive system or something that requires a lot of really heavy database development or coding expertise. We want this to be an accessible resources. We also want this to serve as a template. So you could use any of the tools that I'm going to share exactly as they are, but I personally think they are much better used when communities and folks take our resources, use them as templates, and then customize them for their own purposes. So I say that as preface to say everything you see here is scalable and modular and customizable, and I would encourage you to think about it in your own context. So if something doesn't quite sound right or doesn't quite fit, that's totally fine. And that's some of the feedback that we would love to get. So these three pieces, like I said, kind of fit together and collectively form the aggregator. And I'm going to just touch on each of them individually. So the first is the evaluation framework. If you are not an evaluator or not a researcher, this might look pretty intimidating, and you see a whole bunch of logic models. So basically, the evaluation framework is a set of logic models. And this does two things. So one, it just gives a visual representation of kind of how this aggregator tool and the different data that you might collect fits together and how it all works. So basically, at the very bottom level, there's strategy specific logic models. So when I say strategy specific, I mean like, and I know this is very small. This is not intended for you all to read what's in there. On our site, there are this provides like an overview of the logic models, but then if you click on any one of these, it will go to a full-size version so you can see what's actually in each one. So this is just designed to kind of show a relationship. So at the very bottom level, there are specific strategies. So things like digital navigator programs or device distribution programs, as well as like capacity building strategies. So there's one around coalition building, might be relevant to this group. And for each of those, there's a logic model that basically says, here's the most basic things that we think are important to measure about those strategies. So there's, for a digital navigator program, for example, we have different outputs and outcomes and impacts. And if you're not familiar with logic models, there's a brief little explanation of kind of what each of those pieces are. But at the output level, we say, you might want to measure like how many clients you serve or how many sessions you had to support people for particular types of needs. And we do that for each of the strategies at the most basic level at the very bottom. And then those aggregate up. So this tool is called the aggregator because it aggregates all this work up to kind of different categories. So you might have several digital navigator programs throughout your region, and each of those would kind of fit at the strategy level. And then it aggregates up to kind of that middle tier that you see measurable objectives. And that is thinking about like categories of digital inclusion work. So things like digital literacy kind of at a large scale, or broadband affordability and access. And so all of the different types of programs and strategies that help support digital literacy can aggregate together, and you can get an idea of like across all of our different types of programs that support literacy, so like digital navigators, skills training classes, a number of different strategies, all could feed up, and we could understand like how well are we addressing digital literacy needs throughout our community collectively, as you know, across different types of programs. And there are several different objectives at that middle tier. So like I said, there's digital literacy, there is device access and affordability, so like building a device ecosystem throughout your community, and a few others. I won't go into detail, you can explore them some more, but ways to like categorize digital inclusion work. And at the very top level, there's the overall ecosystem. So if we wanted to think about across all of our different types of strategies and across a whole bunch of different categories of digital inclusion work, collectively, how is our ecosystem doing? How are we moving the needle as a whole to advance digital inclusion throughout our community? And that's the overall ecosystem. So that's looking at the very top level logic model, at the very top of this kind of pyramid, is things like how many total organizations are involved in providing digital inclusion services, or how many total community members have we served throughout all types of, regardless of what any of their needs are, like how many lives have we touched through our digital inclusion work. And so you start to get a picture as you move from the very specific individual program level at the bottom all the way to the top, which is the overall ecosystem. You start to get a picture of like how all of your work together is impacting your community, and that's the idea. And like I said, you can click into these and see more detail and see if the suggested outputs and outcomes match what you care about or not. And we'd love to hear and have some conversation about that as you kind of take a look and see how it might apply to you. So that's the framework. The next piece is the data collection guide. And the data collection guide is really intended to support folks who are implementing programs, who are running digital inclusion programs of all different types, and who might be collecting data about their programs, who might want to know, think about like how is our program serving community members? Are we serving people in the ways that we intended to? And how would we best measure that? And our thought was, if we're going to put together a bunch of logic models that say these are the most important things to measure, then we probably should give some guidance on how to do that. And that's what this guide does. So this guide includes recommendations and best practices for how to do data collection about different types of digital inclusion programs. It also provides templates and resources, both linked and directly in the guide. So for example, if you're running a digital navigator program, one of the things we recommend is that you should collect certain data when you do program intake. So when someone walks into your program, sits down and says, I need support for this, there's some data you should collect about those folks so you understand who are you serving and what are their needs. But we don't just recommend how to do that. We also say, here's an example of an intake form that you could use that we have developed for our own digital navigator programs that we've supported. So we provide very, very practical tools and guidance here, including like client impact surveys for coalitions, member surveys to understand, like, as a coalition, do we think we're achieving what we would like to achieve? So a whole bunch of guidance for both direct service and capacity building digital inclusion programs. And then the third piece is the evaluation database. So this is the tool where you would actually input data. If you're implementing, you know, kind of ecosystem level evaluation and measurement, this is the tool that you would use to actually input data. And it is an Airtable database that's, again, a template that's freely available that anyone can use. We are also developing an open source version that you could essentially stand up in your own server environment. That would require a little bit more kind of application or database development skills, but we wanted to provide a couple of options for folks. We're providing some support around the Airtable side of it, so if people need some help there and are interested in this, we can provide that. So it's a database to capture and centralize all of this data, but it also includes a set of reporting forms. So for each of the, I'm going to jump back to 2 slides. So for each of the logic models across the bottom, the strategies, there is a reporting form that anyone operating a program that uses one of these strategies, so like a digital navigator program or a device program or a broadband affordability program, in the database, there is a reporting form to collect that data. So you don't need to have, the only people that need to actually use the Airtable database is the organization who's like overseeing and kind of managing all the data. But all of the individual programs would use these reporting forms, which you can get to through a link or can be embedded in a web page. And you go in at whatever interval you think makes sense. So if you wanted to do quarterly reporting, that would be fine. And different programs can input their data, things like how many clients did we serve during this reporting period, and how many devices did we distribute, or how many partners referred clients to us during this period. And it's a way to kind of easily upload information and feed it all into this central database. And then from there, the data gets aggregated automatically into different summary reports and going back to the logic model. So the data that is entered at the strategy level automatically feeds up into reports around these different objectives and at the overall ecosystem level. So there's kind of automated compilation of data so that you can understand, just by entering data for individual strategies and programs, you can start to automatically see a picture through some of these reporting forms. What does that look like for our overall, digital literacy support, or our overall broadband affordability and adoption strategies? So that's kind of a very quick overview of the pieces of the tools. I want to make a couple of suggestions here for how people might approach this. Before I do that, I'm going to do two other very quick plugs for folks that are new. If you're interested in learning more about NDIA and our work, you can quickly scan the QR code there, and that will take you to our Join Us page. On the slide here is some information about our Affiliate Plus membership. There is a cost to that, but it is also free to join as an affiliate of NDIA. So if you join at the affiliate level, that's totally free to any nonprofit or government organization. If you want to get a little bit more involved, you can join as an Affiliate Plus. But for those that may be new to this, this is a really great way to learn about digital inclusion work and to get connected to other folks doing this work in the community. And then the other quick plug I'll do is for our annual conference, Net Inclusion. It is coming up in February, which will come up sooner than we expect. So if you are not already registered, we encourage you to do so. I know several folks on the call have been to most or all Net Inclusions. So we'll look forward to seeing many of you there. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for, oh, I'm sorry. I am going to, one other thing, I'm going to switch tabs here if I'm able. There we go. And you can see the address to the URL to get to if you want to explore the aggregator tools and resources. They're all pulled together on our webpage, so digitalinclusion.org/aggregator, and I will drop that in the chat in a moment. But you can see both the tools themselves, but also a summary. So some of the things I talked about, kind of the background and how to use these different resources, what they're intended for. All of those are available on this webpage, as well as links to the tools, the different components of the tools themselves. So I'll stop sharing. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, and then I just wanted to offer one or two suggestions, because I know that's a lot of information that that I just shared, and it may feel a little bit overwhelming to think about, like, where do I get started? So what I'll offer is, as a coalition, we initially thought about this from the perspective of states who would be requiring data collection and reporting as a part of their grant programs. You all don't have that. You don't have anyone compelling you to report your data. And so you might be thinking, like, I've got a ton on my plate. I don't need to be putting data one more place, or I don't need like one more task and set of data collection to take on. One of our goals was to not create new data collection. So ideally, this is information, if you are running a digital inclusion program of some sort, ideally, this is information you are already collecting. You already understand the value of, counting how many people you serve, understanding the ways that you're serving folks through your digital inclusion program. So hopefully it's not adding new data collection. One of the things that I would offer is, as a place to start, is I think the logic models. So that set of logic models, even though it can be a little intimidating to look at first, if you click on any one of them that you might be interested in, like a device distribution program, like I said, it provides you a set of recommended outputs and outcomes to consider measuring. And one way that I would recommend coalitions think about using this tool is to get on the same page about like, are there some things we collectively think are the most important stuff for us to understand about our work? And think about like, are we all collecting those things already? Maybe, maybe not. Or could we, pick a small number of indicators, like a small number of things that we think we could measure across all of our different programs and the different types of services we offer. And so when you look at a set of logic models, our suggestion is not that you collect all of those things. You should only collect those things that you think are most relevant to your work. And so I think those logic models can be a great place to start that conversation about, do we have some shared metrics that we as a coalition would think would be most important and would inform kind of how we're doing towards some shared goals that we might have around digital inclusion work. The other place that I would suggest engaging is the data collection guide. Like I said, that's a set of very practical tools and guidance. So if you are new to digital inclusion work or new to doing kind of systematic data collection, that's a really great place to get started. It has, it was informed by and written by, we had a number of researchers contribute to it, but it reads at a very kind of practitioner applied perspective. So I myself am a practical researcher. I'm not an academic researcher. And if it doesn't work for folks that are actually in the field doing this work, then there's not really a lot of value to it. That's our perspective. And so I think that is a really useful resource as you think about how you might go about doing data collection, or maybe just improving processes that you already have in place, but would want to maybe take another look at. So that's a couple suggestions for how to potentially engage with the tools. And with that, I'll pause and see if there are any other questions. I will also drop my email in the chat. But I also want to leave time for, I know it's a packed agenda, so if we have to move on, I understand also.
No, we have time for questions. Thank you, Aaron. Really great information. As you said, a lot of comprehensive information to go through. I did have one quick question. I know this is just starting. You're just beginning this work. So is there a timeline in your mind or NDIA's about how this would look? Like data collection could start with coalitions now, and then can you kind of walk us through maybe a brief timeline of what you were thinking in terms of how this could flow?
Yeah, so the timeline was much more clear when we were working kind of under the constraints of the Digital Equity Act and knowing what reporting would be required. I'll say now it's much more variable. We are still working with those 8 states. Well, we are working with 7 of them. One of them had to, unfortunately, stop their operations because their funding went away, which is kind of a common story right now. So we are still working with those states, and we are working on, I mentioned that this is customizable. So we are working on essentially customizing this template version for those 7 pilot states and kind of learning through that process. That'll be happening over the next month or 2. And so we'll learn a lot about how folks may scale this up or down to their needs and how to customize it. And we'll have some recommendations around that probably toward the end of the year. I have a whole backlog, as you can imagine. This is because this is just starting and we built a whole database system. I have a whole backlog of additional development things that I want to add to it. So we'll be kind of working through those. But right now we're really in the feeling out stage and kind of trying to share it with folks like yourselves and then get some feedback on what seems the most useful, what are some accessible ways to start using components of this, and how are you all as a coalition or some states and local governments potentially thinking about doing kind of collective data collection and reporting. So yeah, I would say for the next couple of months we'll be doing a lot of kind of informative conversations and listening and trying to understand kind of how do we help people utilize these resources. Mm-hmm. I should also note that all the data that you would collect in this is yours. So we are not centralizing all of this. We are certainly interested if people want to feed data back to us. We would welcome that. But this is not feeding into NDIA's data repository. So everything you collect would be entirely yours. And you're free to use and share as you would want to.
Thank you. Does anyone on the call have questions?
I don't have a question necessarily. Thanks, Aaron, for the presentation, but do have a comment and just want to share. So, we had worked with Colin, Leslie, and I both in sort of the ecosystem measurement framework work kind of leading up to this, and we are now through the Digital Life Exchange, which for your visibility, Aaron, is a kind of a ride-along coalition, less focused on the networking and information sharing piece, but really more focused on the execution and collaboration and data collection piece. And so we're in Q3 of, we're not using this tool specifically, but really the same logic model of kind of that data collection process. And for those of you on the call, I know we've got a lot of the DLX members here, but Emily at Literacy KC, Karen at Goodwill, Pedro at HEDC have been kind of the main points of contact. So we have been, I think Leslie and Leah are maybe in the finishing stages of our second quarter to the frequency question. We're looking at quarterly reporting, but really the model is like, let's start with a few organizations, figure out how to do this in the lightest touch way that is possible, but that still has meaningful information, and then expand it out. So want to just highlight that. So for those of you who are, DLX members, there's somebody probably at your organization who has visibility to kind of the reporting work. And if not, happy to talk about that. For those who are not, or who are DLX members but haven't done this, happy to add you. There's no magic to it. It's just, didn't want to send out to 30 organizations at once and then have to process all that at the same time. And I think there's a lot of learning curve in how we do it. And if you're not a DLX member, would love to have you join and include and participate in that.
Thanks, Aaron.
And Aaron, happy to talk more offline too. I mean, Leslie and I were talking about this in chat because I knew that you guys were kind of doing this, and I wasn't at your presentation when you were here, but definitely interested in how to sort of tie the local work to what you're doing at a national level.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's really cool.
And that's great, and we would love to hear from y'all that have been collecting some of this information across organizations, like what works in terms of both making the case to folks to share their information when there's not like a grant funder or someone saying you have to submit reports, like what has worked and like what kind of measures have you coalesced around that seem like they're the most important. We'd love to hear that from existing efforts. That would certainly be useful information as we share this.
Yeah, and I think Aaron, it really illustrates both Aaron's, the need for something like this tool, because I think all of our organizations have been collecting a lot of important data in the work that we're each individually doing, but there's not really a place that it's been collected as a whole together and looking at it, as one entity together and figuring out what direction do we want to go? What are we doing the most of? What is having the most impact? So I think this is really an incredible way to get started. So other questions from anybody on the call?
Hey, Aaron, it's this Tom. I just wanted to give you some feedback on what you presented today. I know I got to hear you a couple weeks ago when you first introduced this at the Fed event. And what I really pulled out from just a really clear explanation that you gave us today is, I've been working with a lot of really small nonprofits, many of whom, if they've even tried to get grants, oftentimes got rejected, or oftentimes are just so immersed in the work that they just don't even have the wherewithal to seek resources. And if you go down to that strategy level logic models, even just pulling those apart, it gives a small nonprofit just a vision of a pathway to just start talking about what they do in a way that will in and of itself make them more attractive when they have meetings with funders and other community leaders. So at the lowest level of small practitioners, I love the way you built that foundation of those strategic logic models, because it separates out, makes it easier for a nonprofit to think, oh, I do that. Oh, yeah, I capture that data, and I can actually talk intelligently beyond just worrying about how am I going to continue doing the work. So I love that at a kind of more local level. And it's, the trick is what is an organization that can represent a bunch of organizations. You're aware of this. I know Angela's aware. The Health Forward Foundation is a foundation that, one of a very few that specifically funds digital inclusion work. And they have a cohort of, a number of organizations, and they're getting that cohort together. They're just groups that they've provided funding to that do digital inclusion work. I can see a tool like this working for an organization like that says, because there's a finite number of groups, and they don't have to be heavy-handed about it, but it sure would be a great way for Health Forward to have a tool that could aggregate the impact of the work being done by the groups that they fund.
Absolutely.
And then I just want to go one higher level, because we talked about this on the Shelby call a couple of days ago. I co-chaired this national policy group called Anchors for Digital Opportunity, and we're all kind of lamenting. I know Carrie and Wendy are here from the library. We were talking about, with all this focus now on data, one thing that most communities take for granted is libraries and how much work libraries do. And I almost wonder if, at the American Library Association level or at the IMLS level, there could be a way that a tool like this could just focus on data that's collected from libraries to make a stronger case throughout the country as to how impactful the work libraries do. So anyway, those are just my thoughts as feedback. I loved what you presented. I think there's tons of potential. I hope people don't get intimidated by how intimidating it looks. Because, look, to your point, when you dial it down, I think it's very simple and pardon the pun, but it's very logical in terms of different ways it can help at the lowest level all the way up to the national level. So kudos to you guys and the team. I think it's great piece of work.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And you have hit on, I think you did a better job than I have in any of the times presenting it, hitting on some of the use cases and the value that we see. So we know funding is huge, right? Everyone we talk to right now is funding is first and foremost, how do we sustain our operations? That's the number one question that we get. And this is a way, data collection and measurement is a way to make the case to potential funders about the value of your work. I love the idea of sharing this with funders and trying to kind of understand across all of their investments and their support, are they having the impact they want? When Carrie and Wendy and I had a quick prep call before today's conversation, one of the things they asked me was well, how do folks approach this? And how do we think about the role of our coalition? How would a coalition use this? And Tom, I think you kind of hit on one of those. One of the things the coalition can do is provide that kind of that guidance and a forum for folks to talk about how they might want to measure things together. So helping people pick apart the logic models and make this feel a little bit more accessible. So a coalition is, I think, the ideal place to have some of those conversations, particularly for less resource organizations that just don't have the time to do it, among their million other things. If you're already coming to a coalition meeting, spend some time in a breakout group looking at one of the logic models and saying hey, yeah, we all think these couple of things are the most important to measure. I think that is a place to start. And then eventually, maybe momentum builds and maybe this starts a process of collective measurement and eventually, standing up a database and doing kind of full scale data collection. But I think coalitions are uniquely positioned to kind of help start a process of moving toward more systematic data collection and measurement.
Aaron, you mentioned that you run the coalition calls for NDIA affiliates, and you mentioned that anybody who's on this call can also participate as a free opportunity to go to those affiliate meetings. In your particular meetings, will this be a part of ongoing learning opportunities there as well? Just if people want to learn more or see what other coalitions are doing together as a team collaboratively.
They will, yeah. And usually, just to clarify, that is generally coalition leadership, although coalitions take all forms. Some are very formal, some aren't. And so what I would say is, having one or two representatives of a coalition is generally how we approach that. But I would welcome for you all to think about who from our coalition is interested and would like to join. It doesn't have to be Carrie. So, just to make clear that we are open and welcoming, but don't want to overwhelm the group with an entire coalition showing up. But But yes, that's a great question. So we next month I'm going to be presenting this tool on the coalition working group call, and we're going to start like a series of ongoing conversations. We've been having kind of sustainability and like organizational conversations anyway, and so I think we'll have like breakout groups where one group is consistently month after month kind of talking about measurement, data collection, and using the tools. So yeah, that would be a great place to kind of both brainstorm and make suggestions, and also learn what other coalitions are thinking about in terms of like how to use this tool, but more generally like how to measure their work.
Great. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any last questions for Aaron? Okay. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for your time and for your efforts and all the work that you and everybody at NDIA is doing to help support our communities. It's just really incredible work and always groundbreaking. And we're thrilled to have been one of the towns that helped NDIA get started some 10 years ago. So really look forward to working with you on this.
Well, thank you for inviting me today, and it was great to see some of you a couple weeks ago, and we'll look forward to seeing you all online, and maybe some of you in Chicago in February.
Thank you.
Great, thanks all.
Okay, thank you again to Aaron and for all of you for participating in that really important work. And now we're going to move on to our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, and really excited to have Ivan Ramirez here. He's the Digital Experience Director from Revolución Educativa. I'm sorry I'm butchering that, but please share with us, Ivan, your organization, what you do, and what's going on for you just generally in this space, but also this month in particular. And welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you see my screen? I never share my screen. Okay, good. On Microsoft Teams. So yes, we are Revolución Educativa. It translates to Education Revolution, and then we also work hand in hand with our sister organization, Latinx Education Collaborative. Both work together to build the necessary conditions for the advancement of Latinx youth. And we do that through different initiatives, increasing representation in the classroom. We have a storytelling fellowship, and then parenting and empowerment workshops. And another one, which is what we're going to talk about today, it's our digital literacy series called Educatech, education technology, but it's in Spanish, so the translation is education technology. So we have a combination of virtual events, in-person events. At the beginning of our work, we worked a lot with educators, but as you start to peel the onion, we know that it takes everyone to keep advancing success in the Latino youth. So now we work with educators, parents, students, and allies. So here's just a few pictures of what the work can look like. So Educatech.
Yvonne, your screen is not showing.
Okay.
So you might want to recheck your screen sharing.
Okay. So allow share window or share screen.
You should be able to click window, share window, and
window.
I was watching.
I could see the screen. I could see it, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gabriel, you could see it also? Wendy, did you have?
Yes, I saw the screen. He was sharing the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pictures. Oh, okay.
There you go. You're good. You're back.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Huh. Yeah, we can see it.
Ivan, we can hear the video.
Yeah, we can't. I can't hear the video. Can anybody else hear it?
Okay, I'll just skip the video and I can just share it after.
Sure. If you want to send it to us, we can make sure it's included in the newsletter that goes out after the call.
Okay, but can you still see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. Can everybody else say if they
Yes.
can see the screen or not?
Okay, I'm sorry.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so Educatec, we started about 3 years ago. Now, the instructors in the series were our old first students. So the students have become the instructors, and in every cohort, every semester, we look for new instructors to step up from being a student to start sharing knowledge with future cohorts. We up to date. We have this May we crossed the 300 graduates. So now we stand about 360 graduates up to date, and then we're probably going to cross the 400 graduates by the end of this year. In 2024, we had 137 graduates. Every time we have our classes, we do a pre-test and a post-test. And then in there, you can see that there's a 31% increase in knowledge of participants. And then 95% have said that they found the class really useful. I included some of our outcomes by location. We are in more, but this is just a snapshot of what the increased knowledge is in some of the locations. And it's really strong in KCK. Thanks to our partners, we are able to go to KCK and Olathe through El Centro. And then we are in different schools and different community organizations that I'll talk about in a little bit. So I know we are under no illusion that we will not have IT masters at the end of this cohort or experts. But what it's doing is that it's increasing the confidence in parents. The main goal of Educatec is to strengthen the relationships between home and schools. So when we talk to participants, they have said that they have greater independence and they can engage with employers. We have had participants that have been able to secure better jobs for them, or that they're able to communicate with schools. At the end of the series, we invite the school districts to come and talk to parents about the different systems that they have to communicate with parents, like Infinite Campus, for example. So we always have a representative from the school. If we have Educatec at a school, a representative from the school will talk about this softwares so they can continue to communicate with parents and strengthen those relationships between the schools and parents. They learn how to email, how to schedule appointments. They learn about forms, how to share, how to scan documents. So all in all, we are really proud that this program is, it's about empowerment, giving parents autonomy and then rely less on others. These are some of the quotes that we have heard from different participants across our time that we have offered Educatec. And then just recently, last week, I talked to a parent that she was joking that her daughter doesn't want to help her anymore because the daughter knows that she had participated in Educatec. And she says, hey, no, mom, you know how to do this. Remember, you went to a class. So this is an example that parents are more independent now, and they are able to use and lose fear when using a laptop. We have learned that sometimes they hesitate to move the mouse, to type anything because they're scared. It's so new. A piece of technology is so new to them. Some of them have not even opened or touched a laptop or might not know what a browser is. So we take everything down to the basic level and we start talking to them like, this is a computer, this is where you type, this is a mouse, right click, left click. This is our partners. We are in Missouri, in different community centers, different churches, in school districts, and it is expanding. We will have more partners in 2026. And then this is our partners in Kansas City, in the state of Kansas. So this matters because we're reducing the gap. And then families show interest in this series. They have said that they are more confident and independent. And then, like I said, almost everyone, almost 100% are satisfied with our series. And if you want to learn more, I know we have a little bit of time, but if you want to learn more, here's our website, In there, you'll find our different cohorts, and then we also share it to the public, so they can also request for us to bring Educatech to their communities, center, to the schools. But all in all, this is a great program. It's 4 weeks, but in those 4 weeks, the families learn a lot, and then they always want to keep coming. They ask, when is the next class? So because of that, we have added an intermediate class and an advanced class for them. And then we have also offered one-on-one support. Thanks to KC Digital Drive and the Digital Ambassador Program, we are able to expand our capacity and support participants one-on-one after Educatech is over. So with that, that is all I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Yvonne. Really, really great information. I want to ask you one quick question, and that is just as part of these presentations, is there any challenge that you're facing or something that you're struggling with that, whether it's, as a result of this time and what's going on with funding or what's happening in the world right now, or just generally with your organization? What are some of the challenges that you're facing, or are there ways that the coalition can help maybe troubleshoot some things, or we could connect you with people who might be doing things here?
Yeah, the presentation at the beginning is, I think, the data collecting. That will be really helpful. So I'll make sure to follow up. Yes, we have great data, but having that system will help us. We have seen a reduction in registrations because of what is going on around the country. People are afraid to come out, to drive, to be out in public. So that is also a concern. And I know there's more than what we can do that needs to happen for us to change that. And then, no, just connections to different community centers, to schools, anybody that is interested in bringing Educatech to their places. And then I forgot to say this, but at the end of the series, they receive a device, a free device, thanks to our partners. And this is a surprise to them. So it's really neat. When you see them, we've had moms like, I have never gotten a present. Like, this is for me. So it's really emotional for them. We don't take pictures. We don't take videos of that. This is just a moment for them. That's why it's never out in social media. It's a moment for them. But if you get a chance to come on the last class, you get to experience that moment. That is really special for families. So a connection to more individuals that can help us or can sponsor those devices for parents.
That's wonderful. That really is a gift. So Thank you for all the hard work you're doing. Does anybody have any questions for Yvonne? Okay, great. Well, we'll also make sure that we have your slides and your information in the newsletter that goes out afterwards. Thank you so much for your hard work. Okay, now I'm excited to turn it over to Gabriel Formero. He's with the Hispanic Economic Development Corporation and been a longtime participant and champion of the coalition. So look forward to hearing from you, Gabriel. And you're muted right now.
Let me try to share
my
presentation.
Right.
Okay, just a minute. See. And oops. Now?
Yes, we can see
Yes.
your PowerPoint.
Let me stop sharing. Did you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. This for me is a very important invitation, taking in consideration what is happening around the Latino community. Challenge many, but I will focus in my responsibility as a tech coordinator, and I will focus in the answers that HEDC are trying to provide to our community and especially to our clients. First, our mission and I underline is business development and economic and community wealth creation initiative. Then our vision is an institution that will serve and take care of each other and their community and our dreams. Using that mission, I am adjusting or updating our DLP classes and the certification classes. And I will focus, and we will focus now in AI, because AI is no, as a title, is no longer optional. And as always, I will combine a new tool, AI, but with the learning with digital literacy skill. I am combining both content, and all of the classes that I will provide now as HEDC will focus in AI first, and then we will explain or help the people to use a computer or to learn another digital skill. We titled the new webinar series Back to Business, and this is an intentional. Back to business because I want to avoid any consequence about the vocabulary that we are using in our promotion. Everybody is paying attention to some words, and we want to avoid those consequences, negative consequence, especially Latino organization. And the goal is, the title of the three webinar will be the first, Unlock the Power of AI for Your Business, AI in Action, Smarter Tools for Small Business Success, and Pop-up Events, Real World AI Practice. You notice we are using our regular vocabulary to promote digital inclusion. That class will be starting October 14. We will celebrate the Digital Inclusion Week. Will be an introduction to AI. Especially, we want to try to introduce some ideas to understand AI basis and to promote people to use AI in their daily life. The second goal, the second webinar will be AI in Action, a smart tool for a small business, will be October 21. We will offer this class twice per week, Tuesday and Thursday. Will be to explore the tools that the people have available. We will give recommendation to use the free tools and to pay for some specific AI tools that will help business. And our goal with this webinar is give confidence to the participant to implement and use AI on their business routine, financial routines, administration, and we will try to encourage them to start to use AI. The last seminar that we leave is pop-up events, and the idea is how to use AI for community engagement, and special, and the next slide you will see why, how we can connect the real world with AI practice. This will be the third seminar, and November 5th will be my birthday, and we will celebrate my birthday at the end of this. Everybody is welcome. And as you see, we are combining our activities with Friday night fights under the bridge. It's an activity that we have been implemented by 2 years under the bridge in the east side, and it's fortunately for us that so many small business but vendors are participating with us, and we want to train those vendors to use AI to increase the sales, to increase the communication with new customers, and this will be a real practice with a real events. We will invite the people because those events are very nice. It's boxing, music, with a lot of participation. We have been in partnership with all of these organizations. Under the bridge start to be a very good point for Fridays, first Fridays on Kansas City. And this is one of the goals: business development and economic and community wealth creation initiative. And finally, about the challenge, everybody have a founding challenge. We have a good news. In November, probably we will start to sell these Bellevue townhouses, are nighttime houses, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and this will be the opportunity to get some independent funding source. We will see what happens with that, but Pedro has been trying to find solution for funding limitation around across the nation, and we are trying to figure out that. I agree with Ivan. One of the big challenges, we have a class recently, and the people are very afraid to show out person to person. Our class are fortunately online because that's the only way that I connect with my beloved and loved city, Kansas City. But this is a big challenge. It's a really, really, really terrible condition. And at this moment, the community feeling that at any moment they could be in jail, deported, and that is affecting so many of our clients. When we were organizing First Friday, fortunately, we have the support from the city, and we're trying to create a security measure to be sure that nobody will be in trouble. But that is a big challenge at this moment. People is afraid to show out. Fortunately, we are online classes. Soon, probably we will be in person. We are working internally to implement our class in person, but the challenge will be the same situation. People don't want to show up, and that is affecting collating data. People do not want to give address, phone numbers, and more specific information about economic. I don't know if everybody's here. The IT numbers, temporary IT numbers, now is an information that is available for the ICE, and people can identify the IT numbers business and identify the address and where they are, and people are very afraid to share economic information. And that is a big challenge for all of the Latino organizations that want to collect some kind of pieces of information of data. That is my presentation for today. Very quickly, I am very open to answer any question.
Gabriel, first of all, thank you very much for your presentation and for your transparency in the challenges and difficulties that you're facing right now. I'm sorry that you have to go through that and that we're experiencing those things right now. I'm wondering if there's ways that the coalition can help support this pivot of services that you've had to make recently, going online, or if there's places where people feel more comfortable going. I'm just thinking if a library is that place, or if there's ways that we might be able to support you as you navigate this new way of operating for right now. And that can be we can reach out to you directly. We'll put your contact information there, but just want to share that we share your concerns and want to help support you as you navigate these challenges. Is there anything that you can think of right now that
Carrie,
this group could support?
I appreciate that opportunity to say thank you to you and to the library and to the coalition. I work with Hope 24 hours. My hub is very short, day by day. And that's my recommendation with everybody. Focus, be creative, be connected with the reality, be passionate to transform our reality one day. And today, what you are doing now, open the opportunity to share our reality, is very welcome. I appreciate this opportunity. This is very important. I am very conscious about the risk that we have talking these subjects in public. That is why we focus again in our vision and mission. But this is what we have to do day by day, sharing information, inviting the people, and I feeling comfortable here, and that is good. Thank you to create this opportunity. This is our job as a coalition. This is the job that we have to do as an institution organization that work with the community. Open opportunity to feeling safe. And today is one example. Thank you.
Well, thank you for thanking the coalition and all of us, but really thank you for the courageous work that you and Yvonne and Sarah and everybody is doing in this space, because we know it's not easy. And we want to support you. Is there anybody else that wanted to share words of hope or inspiration with Gabriel or our other panelists today? I don't want to dominate the floor. Is there anybody else that would like to share?
Just echoing what Carrie was saying, Gabriel, and you've been, I think it's important to note, part of this coalition work for many, many years. And you've had many high points, and as you're experiencing now, many, many challenging points. But it's obvious the progress that you and the HEDC have made, and your ability to be flexible and keep that spirit of positivity amidst these very challenging times. I think it's just evidence of how committed you are to doing this work, and not just you, but everyone on your team. Yeah. So it's a great, great example for all of us. Sometimes it's hard to just keep your head down and keep working, but you're demonstrating why it's so important during a time like this in particular.
And I'll just say, in speaking for the library, I mean, we're here to support you in any way we can. Wendy, me, our team is here. So I would just encourage anybody to reach out to Gabriel or Yvonne directly. And then please feel free to reach out to us, Gabriel, if there's anything more that we can do.
And Gabriel, this is Joe Robertson with Link. And we are in all the school sites are caring communities, and I know from our site coordinators out in the field that they are also encountering the fear and the concerns that you're talking about, and we try to be available. And so just I offer Link and our sites out there in our Northeast schools and other places also as places where families can get support, and we are eager to support you as well.
We will be in Northeast next week with the Northeast Middle School.
All right, that's great. Thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you, Gabriel. Okay, and now for our last presentation, I'd like to introduce Sarah Gavan. She's the Director of Empowerment for El Centro. Sarah, are you still on the call? I saw you earlier.
Yes, I am. Good morning. Okay. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My presentation is not as long as Yvonne and Gabriel, but I'm going to share a little bit because I'm going to be doing a little bit of echo of what Yvonne and Gabriel said, but I'm going to share a little bit of El Centro. Let me see. Can you see my screen? Can you see my presentation? Yes, okay. Well, El Centro is a nonprofit organization here in Kansas City, Kansas. We serve not only the Wyandotte County area, but we also serve the Johnson County, and we are expanding to Missouri, and we are also expanding to the west of Kansas. We have some promotoras in the western Kansas in Garden City, so we are expanding our services. El Centro was found 49 years ago. Next year we will be celebrating our 50th anniversary, so we are very happy for that. Well, it began with a $10,000 grant donated from the Archdiocese of Kansas City, and that's how we started. Our mission is training communities and improving lives of Latinos and others through educational, health, wealth, and advocacy opportunities. We work in collaboration with several organizations. One of them is Educatec. We work, I will say that Educatec is our sister organization. We work very close with Ivan. We hold the classes, some of their computer classes here at Centro, either in the Kansas City, Kansas building or the Oleta. We have that, and we also have a collaboration with the Toolbox. It's another organization that they also do computer classes, digital literacy. And we are one of the agencies that provide this prize in Ivan's classes, the computers at the end of the class. We feel very proud of these participants that whenever they finish their classes, they get the computer. Some of our students that join the Educatec classes we get them there to learn, either to know the computer, to know how to open an email, the basic stuff. And then after they finish and they graduate from Educatec, we encourage them to take the next course with the Toolbox. With the Toolbox, it's a little bit more extensive. They have different sessions. They teach them how to use Google Sheets, how to use Excel, Canvas, QuickBooks. We also have a GED class, so and it's through Zoom. So that's another way that we encourage our participants to learn how to use the computers. They have a fast track class with the Toolbox on how to open a business, how to sustain a business. So our collaboration with this organization, it's incredible. It's great. And we feel very blessed to have the opportunity to be that part, to give this equipment to the participants. And at the end, like Ivan mentioned it, we feel very proud when they said, I know how to open the computer and how to navigate the web. We are also including a class on how to create a resume, because we have noticed the need of creating a resume for jobs, because now these days they need a resume for almost all the jobs. Whenever they apply online, they need a resume. So we have a class on showing them how to do a resume, how to apply online. So we feel very blessed to have this collaboration with the Toolbox and with Educatec. Like I said, I feel Educatec as our sister agency. We also go to their place once a week in Missouri. We offer some of our services in their office. So that's why I call them our sister offices. But that's part of what we do at El Centro. Collaboration with all these agencies that have these great classes and opportunities for our clients, and we are open to anyone that wants to participate. We always focus on the Hispanic community, and as Gabriel mentioned it, we do have some challenges on data collection, because some of our clients, like whenever we have to give out the computers, they are afraid, they fear on giving out their information, names, addresses, because they feel like this information could be shared. So we try to ensure them that their information is just for our books, and just to prove, our funders that we did give out the equipment to the right people. But yeah, we have had those challenges. We also oversee a VITA site here at El Centro. We do taxes on tax season, and we also noticed the decrease on people wanting to do their taxes. All those who apply for ITIN numbers, they were very unsure on really applying for ITIN number, because they were like, what about if my information it is really shared with the IRS, with the ICE? So those were the challenges that we faced this year. Also, decrease on assistance. The clients, the participants were kind of afraid to attend the classes because of the raids, mainly in Olathe. Kansas City, yeah, we have had some raids, but I think Olathe has been more active on that kind of activity. So yeah, it was a little bit of challenging in that part. And here at the office in Kansas City, we had to readjust how the entrance of the building. We just open one door for them to feel safe through our parking lot. Like the main door was closed almost the entire day, and just using the back door, so they feel safer in our building. So we feel very blessed, knowing that we have the trust of our community, but still, it's fear that is out there. And even though we also do know your rights, and we try to keep our community calm, we know it's still there. So that's what we do. And you are more than welcome to come and visit El Centro anytime. We have many other classes besides our computer digital literacy. We have know your rights, healthy eating classes, as I mentioned, at the GED, how to first-time buyers for a home. We have a project for home buyers. So we have so many activities and projects here at the center. So you guys are more than welcome to come and visit us whenever you like.
Sarah, thank you so much for your presentation and the great work that El Centro is doing in our community. And thank you for your hard work. Again, as I mentioned, with Gabrielle and Yvonne, under these difficult and trying times right now. Does anybody have any questions for Sarah regarding El Centro? Or anything?
I would like to say one idea. As an immigrant, I know that we need to be prepared for give answer to big challenge. As a coalition, and you know that we do not have now the ability to use some words, some concepts that define our mission and vision to reduce the digital gap. And I think that this is the best moment for us to be creators, to be innovators, to adapt, and to give really creative alternative. I don't work with fear. No, I work with hope 24 hours. I hope that people feeling well. AI is a big challenge. I think that we need to promote more conversation about what will happen, but the most important, how we will encourage people to use AI to be more incorporated, to know what is happening, to prepare them to speak out, to make demonstration, to show that concern will be our concerns. And I think the spirit in this moment, for me, this is Gabriel Fumero, is be open, creative, and give more, probably the same answers, but with more passion, the same solution with more determination, with the determination that we are here to help to reduce so many gaps: economical, educational, digital. We are here, and that I am very proud to be, as Tom say, part of this coalition, because we have been here, and you are the pioneer, and you have years fighting with the same situation, sometimes with more intensity, sometimes with less intensity. And today we have a very a summer with high temperature. Okay, we have to be adapted, be open, and work together. That is the importance of this meeting. Be together, maintain the coalition, maintain the opportunity to collaborate and share experience. Thank you again to Carrie and the coalition for this moment to celebrate que aquí estamos, Iván, y no nos vamos. I don't know if everybody understand, but this is aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Right, Sarah, Zaira, and Iván, I am very happy to see
we are
Iván.
here, we're not going anywhere. That's what she's trying to say. Yes.
Well, I just can't thank you all enough, and I can't even tell you how inspiring what you're saying right now, Gabriel, is for the situation that's at hand and for all of us, because you have this, never give up spirit, lean into the hope, lean into the opportunities. And that is what we all need to hear right now. And I cannot say enough about you and Yvonne and Sarah, everybody who's doing this work right now. And I really hope you know that we are behind you. We're here to help in any way that we can. So I just thank you so much for your honesty and for your hard work and working through these difficult times with such an inspiring voice. And I thank you all so much. I really, you're doing incredible work. Okay. I think we're going to just wrap up now with some community announcements. And I think, Wendy, you had a couple of announcements. The one thing I just want to be sure to mention, I think Aaron Schill mentioned it from NDIA. Next week is National Digital Inclusion Week. So if you go to NDIA's website, you can sign up for events that you're doing, and we can share information on the coalition newsletter and website as well. But please let us know what you're working on for this coming week, and we will help share that information out there. And then, Wendy, I did think that you had an announcement, or there were a couple of other announcements, so I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I have just two things to share really briefly here. The library recently was awarded very late in the game. Usually we're notified much sooner than we were this year, but we were awarded a new AmeriCorps grant, and so we're actually able to continue our AmeriCorps state and national program here at the library. And those individuals are the people that provide direct service to our library patrons and provide digital literacy training and troubleshooting services at all of our different library locations. So it's just been a really critical program here at the library, and we're very grateful to get another year of funding. But that being said, we are recruiting members right now. So I'm going to pop the link into the chat for all of your reference. If you know anyone looking for a part-time gig, this is 25 hours a week, and members receive a stipend. The library is actually able to supplement that stipend to make it a little more competitive and a little more than what AmeriCorps members are used to receiving. So, and then of course there's the education award that is received at the end of their year of service that can help with tuition or to pay off those pesky student loans. So please refer anyone to our website. It's a quick application, and we've been doing interviews all week, and we'll continue until we get those positions filled. And then my other announcement was we are at the library now recruiting new partners for our Chromebook lending program. You may have heard that the library is sunsetting the Chromebook lending that's available through just kind of general circulation directly to patrons in the community. We've kind of lost a lot more devices over the last several years than we anticipated, so we're shifting the lending model to work through partnerships We've been working very heavily with Literacy KC for the past couple of years and have had a great success getting our devices back at the end of the semester. And so really what we're looking for is if you are providing programs or services to your clients and they could use a Chromebook to help them be more successful in that experience, let's talk, because we can make an arrangement with you as an organization to provide extended checkout periods so that people can use Chromebook for the duration of your program. So for example, at Literacy KC, we lend out a device to their students for the duration of the semester. And then, so if you're interested and if you think, or another example I've talked recently is people are shifting to virtual programming for some of the reasons that were talked about today. So if that's something you're experiencing too, we're here for you and we'd love to hear from you. I'll put my email in the chat. The process for that, if you're interested in borrowing Chromebooks, is just to email me directly. So that's all I got.
We're basically moving from individual checkouts that we had been doing at our branches to a bulk system that is supported by partners who are doing the work. So we can do multiple checkouts to one organization. So Gabriel and Sarah and Yvonne, this might be something that we can work with you guys on, given the situation at hand. Okay, what other community announcements does anybody have? Leslie, is your hand up?
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that we are having the Get Help KC event on November 8th here at the Digital Services and Support Center. We've been grateful to have Andrew Lynn with the library join us on our planning committee for that. So it's an event where we're just going to be able to help people, support them through digital navigation services to do any variety of tasks. Maybe that's sign up for Medicaid or, just a wide variety of services. And so just wanted to say that if your organization is interested in helping out, we'd love to have you. I have a great list of folks so far, but could always use more help. And that will be from 10 to 2 again on November 8th. You would be able to have a tabling opportunity as well as doing that one-on-one support. So you can email me directly. I will put my email in the chat and we can get you up to speed on what that looks like. Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. It looks like Gabriel got his Chiefs shirt on.
To show to Tom, hey, this is my city. This
We
is
have
my
to
city.
represent. That's right, Gabriel.
Right here. No, don't make wrong conclusion. Don't make wrong conclusion. Look at that.
No.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Carrie, I have one congratulatory announcement. I don't know if Anna Stewart from Della Lamb is still on the call, but for those of you who may not have heard, hi, Anna. She was recently awarded one of the N10, that's the National Technology Network, their annual Digital Inclusion Fellowship. In fact, Wendy Pearson, our own Wendy Pearson, was one of the early recipients, and I think Leslie Scott was a recipient. And Anna, I just wanted to give you a shout out. It's great news, and it's not just for you personally, but for us as a coalition and for Kansas City as a community. And you just got back from orientation. Did you want to give us a little bit of a nickel version of what you got?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm jet lagged, so I apologize. And Gabriel, you had me crying. So I'm going to collect myself, but it was so amazing to connect with the fellows and just the energy, everybody, and just the same issues. We're all challenged with the same thing. So it's so nice to not feel alone, because you kind of get siloed in these areas, and that's why I love this coalition too. But it was just amazing, the energy. My brain's gonna explode because I have so many ideas and thoughts, and I don't know where to begin, but I'm so grateful for this coalition because I need your help so very badly. So thank you so much. I'm so excited.
That's
great. Well, congratulations. we're
Thank-
lucky to have you, and of course we'll all work together to make it a great experience for you. And we're just lucky that we've got your dedication and focus. As you can tell from this call, there's just so many issues, so many things that I think we can all do together to take us to a higher plane. So great stuff. Kudos to you.
Yeah, congratulations, Anna. I love your enthusiasm. That's so exciting. Congratulations. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being here on this call today, and hope you're all doing okay and keep up the good work. And remember, we're all in this together and we're all here for each other. So just really appreciate all of you and the work that we're doing, and hope everybody has a really great weekend.
And go Chiefs Monday night, Jacksonville, just as a reminder. We'll see everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.